Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sarah Haywood, the Chief Technology Officer of Carlsberg. Sarah, thanks for being here. And Jochen Forster, who's the Director and Professor of Yeast and Fermentation at Carlsberg Research, otherwise known as Dr. Beer. So welcome, Sarah and Jochen. I'm really excited to have you guys here because, as I shared with the audience, my favorite thing to do is actually to show technology happening in real life to drive real results. So, Sarah, why don't you kick us off by telling us a little bit about Carlsberg?
Sure. So some companies have to search for their purpose. Ours has always been there, brewing for a better today and tomorrow. Carlsberg was founded in 1847 in Copenhagen by J.C. Jacobsen, and he instilled our culture of innovation. Today, our beers are enjoyed in over 150 countries worldwide. To continue our journey, our strategy has three key priorities: to strengthen the core, building on our #1 and 2 positions in key markets; to position us for growth, investing in segments like alcohol-free and craft and specialty, where we see long-term opportunities for growth; and finally, to create a winning culture, to invest in the capabilities we need to deliver on our choices. To do this, we've been on a huge technology transformation, creating a digital platform to enable us to embrace new business models and to connect in new ways with our customers and consumers. We've had to reimagine our infrastructure landscape. We've re-engineered the network. We've migrated our enterprise solutions into the cloud. We've implemented Office 365 and rolled out Windows 10 across our entire ecosystem.
Awesome. So, Dr. Beer, if I can call you that, Jochen, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I probably have the best job in the world. We're doing science to make high quality and better beer. So at the Carlsberg Research Laboratory where I'm working, we're devoted to the science in beer. We have platforms working on barley, hops, brewing technology, and I'm responsible for the yeast activities for beers and alcohol-free beverages. And actually, one of the major achievements we had was at the end of the 19th century already, where we purified the very first pure brewer's yeast, and derivatives of it are today used in many of the breweries around the world. So it's really fun to work at CRL, Carlsberg Research Laboratory. We are pursuing perfection every day.
That's awesome. And I have to say, as a consumer of the product, I think the science is paying off. So listen, fantastic progress that Carlsberg is making as a business, and it is grounded in technology and science. So I do want to share with everybody how you're actually bringing the transformation to life. Why don't you take us over to your lab and show us a little bit of beer science?
Yes, please join our lab. Judson, we actually brought you a lab coat, so you were able to
so it wouldn't be an
join our team.
At least one costume.
We need some help in the lab.
Great, thank you. Thanks.
Here we go.
Much better jacket, don't you think? Good.
So,
how do I look?
Fantastic.
If this
I hire you.
Well,
I hire you immediately.
I might need a job. Good. Great.
All right, so let me take you to Teams and show you a fun example that supports our vision of leveraging one of our really important brands in the market to drive growth.
Cool.
So we had actually, at the end of last year, the 25-year anniversary partnership with Liverpool FC, and we wanted to do something really cool. We brewed a beer from hops unlike any other. And we call this the Red Hop Project. And if we go here into Teams, you can see it here on the left-hand side.
Awesome, very cool.
So to bring this to life in Carlsberg, we brought together a diverse cross-functional team. We brought people from the science laboratories in their lab coats. We had people from marketing. We brought together operatives from the production line. Our goal was to brew a special beer infused with the spirit of Liverpool Football Club.
Very cool. So, Jochen, how do you use technology to actually help this really diverse workforce come together?
So let's, again, go into Teams. So actually, at the start of the project, we went to Anfield, the Liverpool stadium, and we got some soil out of the ground of the Liverpool FC stadium. We took this soil all the way up to Denmark, to Copenhagen, to Carlsberg Research Laboratory. And actually, we used the soil took it into our greenhouses. We grew the hops inside that soil. And not only this, we also played 24/7 Liverpool FC games, videos and sounds all the time. So the end result is a really, really special beer that is grown and brewed to the sights and sounds of Liverpool FC.
So let me get this straight. you actually played a video of football games to the plants, Jochen.
Yes, and this is exactly right, actually. And there's an increasing body of evidence that when you expose plants to sound and music, that you promote growth of plants. So the end result here, again, is a special beer that is grown and brewed to the sights and sounds and spirit of Liverpool FC.
Well, that's cool. So, look, I'm sure there are many football fans here. You know, we probably missed the cue on the French football team for the right beer for the World Cup anyhow. But if you happen to be a fan of Liverpool Football Club, I can imagine, like, how cool it must be to buy a beer that's infused with the spirit of the team itself. So, pretty cool, pretty innovative.
Pretty cool stuff. And this is the beer that we actually produce.
Awesome.
So, and you know, Teams is really helping us unleash the creativity of a diverse workforce. I mean, this type of employee empowerment is driving productivity, innovation, and cross-team collaboration in amazing ways.
Really cool, really cool.
So, and I agree with Sarah, and we can go back here into Teams, into Project Planner. And one of the important moments in the project was the harvest moment. Harvest the hops at the very right moment. And we used Planner, had all the teams that Sarah was referring to. Actually, we have the harvest event milestone, the marketing, bottling, brewing teams, research team, documenting the evidence for the use during the campaign. We had CRL, tested and inspected the hops we grew for quality and taste.
Cool.
And so we have all the teams before, during, and after harvest. And we want to make sure they get everything right. So let's invite them for a meeting. So I go up here, copy the link task, the topic of the meeting, Control-C. And I go here to the left to the meetings, schedule a meeting. I give it a title, Harvest, and I should spell right, Harvest event. I want to have it in 2 days. On the 18th, time is fine. I Control-V, paste the information I've just copied. It's the milestone we have to talk about. And the team I want to invite is obviously the Red Hop project team.
Cool.
And schedule a meeting.
Awesome.
And here we go. And just with a few clicks, I've pulled everyone together on the harvest and over all their devices. And that's what you see here on the screen.
Awesome. Cool.
And you know, Teams has all the right tools in the right places to help us bring this extraordinary project to life.
That's awesome. And look, I hope all of you are taking in, honestly, the way in which that Teams has sort of been woven into the Carlsberg business fabric, because it's partners that actually bring that to life. And we have a fantastic group of partners working at Carlsberg that have taken Teams and actually made it the fabric for collaboration. If you look at the way in which the workflow is laid out, the opportunity for add-ins, this is really a great opportunity for partners around the world to build into this notion of employee empowerment, Teams as the fabric for collaboration. So again, another area to make an investment for growth for the future that pays off for customers big time because it actually helps them get real work done. So Sarah, let's switch gears a little bit and talk shop. You've done a lot on the operational side to really rethink the way IT supports the business. You're taking SAP to the cloud. You're working on DevOps scenarios. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what that's been like at Carlsberg?
Sure. So, I mean, let's start with the migration into Azure. So we've just finished migrating over 500 servers, and as you say, including our entire SAP landscape. And we've done that not just to optimize the legacy environment, but to create a modern data platform. So to enable us to work in a dynamic, agile, and flexible environment going forward.
Right. So it is a great opportunity, once again, for partners all over the world to really embrace what's happening in this application movement to the cloud. Taking SAP to Azure is a huge opportunity, also one in which I would guide that partners make investments. Because what happens after the fact, actually, Sarah, is what you just mentioned. mentioned, this notion of being able to have a true data estate. And that's where the real exciting things start to happen. So maybe share with us a little bit of what you've been able to do with this data estate and how it's changed how you operate.
Sure. So let's walk over to the Surface Hub and we'll show you.
Sounds good.
OK, so we work with a lot of third parties to deliver our strategy. And we came up with this concept called the Digital Idea Brewhouse for Carlsberg. So, and here it is. So this is CPaaS, or Carlsberg Platform as a Service. And here we can see an example where if I click on our security bot, this is a bot built in Microsoft Cognitive Services on Azure, and it's to enable Carlsberg colleagues to actually provide information on security rules and regulations.
That's awesome.
And if we click here, I can show you in GitHub. Here's the code bases that we use to actually build this bot. And I can click here. We can actually see the Bot Builder SDK that helped us to accelerate the development of this project.
That's really cool. So Azure's sort of become the foundation for the DevOps environment, and it enables you to use third parties to speed up the innovation at Carlsberg.
Absolutely.
Truly groundbreaking way of developing platform as a service that's unique to Carlsberg. So lots of bots these days. Why don't you show us a little bit about what Carrie actually does for Carlsberg?
Sure. Well, let's take a look at Carrie. So do you want to ask her a question?
Sure. How about something challenging in the security realm here, like GDPR, cryptography?
Okay.
Like what can she do?
All right. Well, let's ask her a question. So I'll just maximize the screen. So why don't we ask her about cryptography rules?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. So we just put that in here. So what are the cryptography rules for the network? And we'll just send that message. And here we see sometimes there's a variety of categories. So if we pick cryptography, and we can see here's a whole series of rules that our teams can use when they're designing features in the network.
Awesome. So anybody, whether it be a Carlsberg employee or a partner that's using CPaaS, can actually jump right in, take the advice from Carrie, and speed up the development process.
Exactly.
So it's bots providing real value to the human experience, AI using it for really the benefit of the human experience. That's cool.
Cool. So finally, let me show you what we're doing on Power BI. So this is the integrated supply chain balance scorecard for Carlsberg. So to protect our IP, we've changed the metrics and inserted some dummy data. But the fact remains, it's the modern data platform that allows us to present this via Power BI. In the past, we'd have had quarterly, half-yearly reviews. People would have worked to pull this data together manually and presented it back via PowerPoint. Today, we've automated those data sources, and we can present it back via the dashboard. And here you can see in one pane the customer metrics, service volumes, cash efficiency, so all in one place. And if I drill down here, we can see there's maybe something going on here with customer churn. So if we take a closer look, we can see in Europe, they're actually doing very well. 0% customer churn, low cost of customer maintenance.
Right on.
Unfortunately, the story is not quite the same in Asia. So higher churn, much higher cost of customer maintenance. Maybe the insight here is we could take some lessons learned from Europe and really apply them to Asia to improve performance.
Right on.
It seems really basic, but this is actually helping us make better and faster decisions.
That's right. And so with that data estate that you've established, it's actually changing the culture of how Carlsberg can operate. And I want to take a moment to address the partners. Look, none of this, first of all, would have been possible without the great work of partners coming to life at Carlsberg and investing in the solutions that help Sarah and her team. But the cultural impact that you can help drive when you implement a solution like this is truly remarkable. Because gone are the days of the half-yearly review meeting or the quarterly deep dive, and fast forward to the days of being able to make real-time, nimble decisions based on data that's live about the business, one area of the business teaching the other how to succeed, really drives a cultural transformation for Carlsberg. And that's the opportunity that lies ahead for partners. It's more than just implementing the tech. It's about actually driving a revolution inside of a business, and it fuels so much more. So let's come back to this moment about churn, right? Because when you see something like that, you get concerned, and you may actually then want to use the data to influence how you develop product. So Jochen, let's shift back to you.
Yes.
How do you then take the foundation here and think about transforming beer?
So as scientists, we actually have struggled for a long, long time with how to predict actually how a beer will taste when we test yeast, barley, hops, and so on. It's something we would like really to know very early in our research projects. So as a maybe real-life example, have you ever cracked a new brand of beer and thought it really tastes different than you expected?
Well, I have to say that there's no worse way to end a bad day than to have a bad beer at the end of it. So yeah. How, in fact, are you going to use tech and data to make beer better?
Yes. So today, of course, it's with AI. We are trying to use AI and combine it with the development of novel flavor sensors. So to predict what the beer will taste like. So this sounds very simple as an idea, but it's actually pretty complex in execution.
I bet. So how are you actually using Azure machine learning to create AI-optimized beer?
So before I go into it, let me tell you, so we actually started a pretty large research collaboration about half a year ago, actually together with you and 2 Danish universities, Technical University of Denmark and Aarhus University. It's actually Aarhus University that develops new sensors, Technical University of Denmark bringing the sensors into screening and fermentation vessels. You at Microsoft helping to take the data we get from the sensors and analyze them with Azure. And that is, and of course, we at Carlsberg want to use it, and we're testing it already. And we have some of the core models, or one core model presented here. It's a number of MLS regression models. We can zoom a little bit in. It's the level of information we're sharing now right here. It's Bayesian linear regression models, et cetera, et cetera. And this is a big, big model, but it's a really will help us to determine how
right.
beer will taste like.
So, but I got to be honest with you, do you really need this kind of complexity and sophistication for beer making? And like what's actually happening inside of this model that allows you to produce a better product?
So it will be kind of an iterative approach. So we're going to generate billions or millions, at least millions of data points. We're going to test new barley variants, new hop variants. We're testing new yeast variants in our platform in really micro-liter proofs. So we're generating a lot of data. We're taking the data into the core model. We will learn how this model will predict flavor in the beer later in our big processes. We will remodel, iterate, and so on until we really believe we have it. So the key actually here is now we are able to use these kind of models to predict taste, and we can understand the patterns we see in the data.
That's awesome. So effectively, dramatically speeding up the process for creating better beer. And a lot of these product transformation scenarios, you have to think about how the data about the product can become more valuable than the product itself. And that's what the partners that are helping Carlsberg have done in this case. And so trust me, when I say you can optimize anything with AI, well, if you can optimize beer with AI, you can probably help a customer optimize just about any product on the planet. This business has been around for 150 years, and Jochen is really bringing forward producing probably the best beer in the world using technology. So now that we have this great beer, how do you bring it to market in a revolutionized way to better engage with your customers?
Well, here's a prototype of our connected bar. So this helps us engage with one of our key customers, the bar owner. And this is amazing for the bar owner. This helps them with managing their bar more efficiently and driving profitability. So Judson, let's make you the owner.
Sounds good. I'm trying out all kinds of new careers today, from beer scientist to bar owner, so why not?
So Judson, what we actually see here inside the bar or down under the bar in the cellar, we have the Draft Master Module 20. It's a new keg system. And we have developed, the Draft Master development team at Carlsberg has developed a new type of keg, PET kegs instead of steel kegs. They're actually pretty light, particularly when they're empty, but filled, they're actually still 43% lighter than an actual steel keg. They're all made for keeping beer fresh for a longer time.
Awesome.
Once you use these kind of kegs in the brewery or in the bar, we have 6 times longer freshness, 31 days to sell a really good beer of very high quality compared to few days with a steel keg.
That's fantastic.
So the cool thing is here, the beer is never exposed to air before it leaves the tap. You just squeeze the tap. There's no additional CO2, no additional gases. So the moment the beer comes out of the tap, it's the first time it sees the oxygen.
Fantastic. Very cool.
So this really helps the bar owner with their stock management. It reduces their spoilage costs, and it helps them to stock a bigger assortment of beers. What we're seeing is in markets where we have this equipment, bars show an 8% increase in sales versus a 4% decline elsewhere.
Awesome. So how do you then use the technology to engage better with the bar owner, who's really your customer, and serving the consumer?
Let's have a look.
Awesome.
So if we click here, we can log in, and we'll log in with you as the owner. And we can see this is your overview. So this shows your stock. We can see there's a low here on Carlsberg and Special Brew. We can see quality. There's an amber here we might want to come back to. Oh. You can see the promotions, so the World Cup football promo, for example, messages and sales.
Awesome. So can we drill into this area where we have a caution or a warning?
Sure. Let's go into the quality section. So here we can see we're actually measuring 3 things. We're measuring the compressor, the actual keg, and the taps and the lines. Here we can see the Kronenberg. Actually, we've got an amber because the temperature is 4.3 instead of 3.9. The good news is that this is actually being seen by Carlsberg and your service reps at the same time.
Yeah, well, so it's pretty hot out there in Vegas. We want to make sure our beer is as cold as it possibly can be. So what can we do about it?
Well, let's log in as the sales rep. So we log in again, and we log in as the service rep here. We can see the service area, and I can click onto your bar. And here we can see it's giving me a message to check the refrigeration equipment. So here we're allowing the service rep to work proactively with the bar owner to help them to solve the problem.
Right. So as a bar owner, I don't have to be in the weeds of how this thing all works. You can directly engage with me and help me solve my problem.
Absolutely. And in this example, it may be the refrigeration equipment is about to fail, and we can predict that using models in Azure and AI.
Awesome. So what's the rollout plan for all of this?
Well, we've already got about 30 plus bars, pilot bars out in the market. And what we're looking at is the sensors that we need to really bring this more globally. And we're super excited to be bringing this to market.
Awesome. And this scenario has actually fueled how we're thinking about our own development, actually our IoT-driven field service application within Dynamics 365. So maybe I can talk to you about that a little bit more after the show.
Well, maybe we could have a beer.
Sounds like a good idea. So listen, let me provide a summary here, because in each one of these vignettes, you have seen a fantastic use of technology driving forward digital transformation and great partners behind bringing those technologies to life. Once again, I have to remind you that this isn't a demo. This is digital transformation in real life. And while Sarah and Jochen did a fantastic job up here, they're not actors and actresses. They run this business. And they do it because they love it. They do it because technology can actually change the way in which they serve their customers around the world. So from employee empowerment to bringing together a diverse workforce, from folks in lab coats to folks driving trucks, to thinking forward and really reimagining your operations and all of the work you've done with Azure in the cloud, to then thinking forward how you actually use AI to make beer better, to then finally coming together and engaging the customer better than ever before, making it fun along the way. I really can't think of a better example of digital transformation. So before we conclude, though, look, these are our most important partners around the world, and all of them work forward to drive these types of solutions, bring them to life. What kind of advice might you have for them, Sarah, before you depart?
Well, I think it all starts and ends with your customer's vision of digital transformation. At Carlsberg, we have a vision of a connected Carlsberg, and we need great partners who can innovate with us and respond rapidly to the diverse and new opportunities for us to connect with our employees, with our customers, and with our consumers.
Awesome. So like I said, it's digital transformation in real life, and we want all of you to have a firsthand experience with this, literally firsthand experience. So we have a little treat for you. We actually have a happy hour at a Carlsberg lounge here at Inspire. So both today and tomorrow, if you join us at 5 p.m., you can sample probably the world's best beer. In addition to that, you can actually join, or enter rather, a drawing to go to Denmark and do a beer tasting in Copenhagen with Jochen and Sarah. So please join us at the Carlsberg Lounge at 5 p.m. either today or tomorrow. Sarah, Jochen, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Thanks, Judson.